The SJ6 Ledgend has been one of the most popular action cameras around for the past few years. It was first launched at early 2017 and was a good budget alternative to the GoPros back then. So does the SJ6 Ledgend still live up to its name? Hello, namaste and welcome to the channel. This is Revin and today I'm gonna do a quick unboxing of the SJ6 Ledgend and you're gonna find out if this camera is still worth for you in 2020. Today we might have a lot of budget brands around the world that offer much better quality and much better value for money. But if you're buying in Nepal, your choice is much limited. Either spend half a lakh rupees on the likes of GoPro or the DJI, or save some money and get a SJCAM. The SJ6 Ledgend has been around for more than 3 years now. You can find one brand new below 15,000 rupees, but a used one might be a much better choice for a lot less. By the way, if you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and definitely hit the bell icon for notification updates. So this is the packaging the SJ6 comes in. This camera can record in 1080p up to 60 frames per second, and you can have some slow motion at 720p up to 120 frames per second. It also suits 4K in 24 frames per second, but I think anything below 30 frames per second is not that good. And also the 4K from this camera is interpolated. The video is actually recorded in low resolution, then upscaled to 4K during processing. The camera AI adds pixel to reach that 4K resolution. So the SJ6 uses a gyroscope for EIS. You can turn the gyro on and off. There's also an option for distortion correction, and you can also choose the field of view from narrow, middle and wide, an option which is only available with the gyro turned off. There's also a low light mode and a WDR mode option. You can also record in either MP4 or MOV file formats. So talks aside, let us now see the contents. Okay, so the box comes with the SJCAM logo embedded in chrome here. I don't know if you can see it in the video. So the camera comes in the box inside the waterproof housing. Let me keep the camera aside for now and let's see what else we get. So there's a user manual that tells you about the camera and all the accessories that comes with the camera. So if you're using an action camera for the first time, maybe this manual would be of some help. So this is an open case for mounting the camera when you don't want to use the waterproof housing. Since using the camera inside the waterproof case is not always convenient, if you want to access the ports, the SD card or the internal microphone, this case is useful. But this is made of some flimsy plastic, so if you want that rugged protection, use the waterproof case. There are some curved and flat mounts with the 3M adhesive tapes. You also get some spare thumb screws. You also have these tripod mount adapters with 1/4 inch male and female tripod mounts to GoPro style mounts. There's also this second back door you can use with the waterproof housing. Now what this does is allow you to use the touch screen with the waterproof case. And you also get a swivel mount. This thing rotates 360 degrees so that you can point your camera at any angle. So basically the SJCAM covers quite a lot of accessories that are useful, which you don't get with the more premium cameras like the GoPro or the DJI. Okay, now let's take a look at the camera. So let me take this off the waterproof housing. Let's turn the camera on. Okay, so the camera features a front LCD screen that is really useful. You can see if the camera is recording and how long has it been recording for. You can see your resolution and FPS settings. You can also see the available space in your microSD card and the remaining battery life. So the user interface is pretty clean and simple. All the icons and the menus are clearly visible and they're good to read. The screen is pretty responsive and not that bad for a cheap action camera. Surely it's not nearly as good as a smartphone screen, but it's pretty responsive and not that bad for a touchscreen on an action camera. But there are some flaws as well to the screen, so I'm having this issue with my camera, and also I've heard from a lot of people that they're experiencing the same thing. It's actually the corners of the screen is not that responsive when you touch. So if you want to touch some icon at the corner, sometimes it works, sometimes the screen just scrolls instead. The SJ6 has buttons on the side and top which can also be accessed with the waterproof housing on. So you can change your settings underwater, unlike a GoPro which does not have any buttons, and the touchscreen is pretty useless once submerged. So let's see some sample recordings and you can decide for yourself if this quality is up to your liking. So I would say that the gyro stabilization in this camera works pretty well. The video quality is decent at 1080p with some good amount of sharpness and details. The 4K footage from this camera is not real 4K, it's not true 4K, it's interpolated. That means the 4K footage is actually recorded in low resolution and upscaled to 4K in processing. The 4K quality is not that good, and I would recommend not to use it. If you really need a 4K camera, maybe you could look somewhere else for some better options. But if you have a SJ6 Ledgend, the best possible option would be to shoot at 1080p at 60 fps. The colors are not very accurate, at least to me, so you might want to consider putting in some time for color correction. Now let us hear some audio samples from this camera. The exhaust note you can hear is from the internal microphone. Since the camera was in its waterproof housing, it did not pick up any wind noise, but the exhaust note was still audible. So if you're using the internal mic for audio, you might want to use the camera inside its waterproof case if you're riding a motorbike. So the audio you are hearing now is from the internal microphone of the SJ6 Ledgend, and this is how it sounds when you're talking to the camera. And this is what the audio sounds like when you're talking from behind the camera. So is this camera worth using in 2020? My answer would be yes and no. So yes, if you are using this for a second action camera. So maybe you already have a premium camera and you want something for the second angle shots and you don't want to spend as much, then yes, this could be a good choice. Also, if you're limited to buying from inside Nepal and have a limited budget, then maybe this is okay for you. If you're just starting out and want to learn about using an action camera before purchasing a premium one and have some extra money to spare, then go for it. But if you're looking for the one action camera that does it all, or want to create something more professional looking, then maybe the SJ6 is not a worthy investment in 2020. So what do you guys think of the SJ6 Ledgend? Is this worth enough for you in 2020? Mention your thoughts down in the comments. You can also find the link to my Instagram in the description below. And if you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon for notification updates.